Hello and welcome to All the Pies. My name's Si. That is Kev. That one, the big one, pink one with the hat on. That is Joel. What? Hi. And this is the All the Pies. Brand new. I haven't changed the bloody thing at the top, transfer rumours and gossip. I'll leave that up because, I can't be asked. This is our new weekly podcast. We're changing format. We're going to do a weekly podcast, become like Joe Rogan's and that, but about Newcastle. So this week, some sad news. We're going to have to say au revoir to Alan, say Maxi man.
God, he scored so many goals.
Thing is, Maxi didn't score so many goals towards the end. No, but look, come on, what you got? He's got his signed picture. You can't even see it.
Yeah, the green screen doesn't like that, does it?
Green screen doesn't like it because it's all green. Doesn't even like you, Joel. You've disappeared. Signed picture of Alan San Maximan. He's been brave. He hasn't buckled. I'm sure there'll be a time where he'll have some solemn reflection and may weep or shed a tear in his bedroom, just as I did when Newcastle sold Andy Cole. I've told you, Kev, I've known that story. I had I can say it properly now. There you go. I almost sold Andy Cole. There was a clip of a compilation of Andy Cole playing for Newcastle that my uncle taped off Sky that day from the news, and I put the video in, and I was watching it on repeat. And it had "Love lifts us up where we belong" in the background. And I had posters on the wall, and I was standing on my bed next to my posters, like singing "Love lifts us up to where we belong," with tears flooding down my face at the sale of Andy Cole.
Yeah, well, when we sold Andy Cole, I was equally as devastated as you were. But hey, what a replacement we got for Andy Cole when the man who become the legend of the club, Alan Shearer, came in as pretty much a replacement. Not long after.
No,
wasn't that long after. Oh, sorry, Les Ferdinand came in, and then we got Alan Shearer.
I prefer Ferdy Shearer.
What?
It's just because I was slightly younger, and it was just I loved the Ferdinand signing. Although I don't know because I was there when Shearer signed, obviously right at the front. I don't know, there's something about Ferdinand that I just loved. But I also loved Keith Gillespie that we got as part of the deal for $1 million. Right, have you got any final thoughts on Alan St. Maximan that you want to say before I send you away? Well, come close to the mic then. Imagine Maxi's watching. What would you like to say to him?
Right, so Kev, you're going to be Maxi now.
In real life.
He could have done better.
That's not bloody fucking.
Great. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
I know.
He could have done better. He still did really good, but I think Bruno Guimaraes, he's still better.
Wow. Bye, Maxi. Yeah. Bye, Joe. Go get one of these cans of pop.
What an emotional send-off.
I know it was, wasn't it?
That was.
Yeah. It was so touching.
Really got us in the fields, that. Don't know who he takes after.
Ruthless. Got to be
well,
ruthless.
Do you know what it is?
I wasn't ruthless when I was young. I was very, very emotional. And then I realised that doesn't get you anywhere. You've got to be cut through it. It's Kev, do you like clean sheet? I've lost half a stone. Thank you, son. Right, go on. I'll tell you when I'm done recording.
Well, I think I found it. So,
but I was going to say, most people when they go lost half a stone, they're like, wow, that's fantastic. But on me, it's just like, oh, well, you can't really notice much, can you? When you're the size of like half an elephant, it doesn't really, you know what I mean? It doesn't really take much off.
You do look fresh, Simon. You look well. Dare I say it?
Thank you.
You look well.
I've been taking loads of vitamins, and I haven't had alcohol for a fortnight, and I've been taking loads of vitamins, and I've been on a whole food plant-based diet where I eat nothing processed, so everything is like a potato, a banana, some peas, like nothing that's processed to crap in. And it obviously does affect your body. Apart from me old fizzy sodas that I do, that's my only vice, and vaping. But
I'm trying to eat a bit better. I'm still having the odd drink, but instead of drinking beer, the old voodoo jazz hand, I'm actually drinking gin and soda, which
Diet soda.
yeah, diet soda.
Like a diet
Zero,
tonic.
zero. It's like the 0 calorie. It's like a tonic, but it's more like a soda water.
Oh, no, I hate soda water. I want with gin.
Mm.
It's
I
pure
mean, it's
mint.
not. It's not that tasty, but it's alright. You know, it's not as bad as the fattening beers that I normally drink, and I like the IPAs and stuff like that, which are really bad for you. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
but
well. Good.
what you
Anyway.
been? I was gonna say,
Anyway. What's going?
No, I was going to say what we're going to. Are we going to continue on this Maxi? Now it seems like a good place to start the video.
We've started off with Maxi, so yeah, we may as well kick on with the sale of Maxi, which it's still not 100%, is it? Or has he signed?
Well, it depends who you read.
Romano yesterday said the first part of the medicals went okay, and they're waiting for like documentation. So that's Maxi sale Al Halal. Al Halal. That sounds funny in our accent, isn't it?
Al Halal.
Al
Halal.
Al Halal.
Yeah, I mean, well, it looks like it's going to go ahead, doesn't it? You know what I mean? I think that was the catalyst for Harvey Barnes to come through the door. And you know, we are big Maxi fans on this channel, and I don't think it's just this channel. I think majority of the people who go to the match and have went to the match over the past how long has he been here? 4 years, 5 years. Who've been over that period. He's been like the one shining beacon that's getting me through times where it was pretty much miserable.
I put it on Twitter. I went, please allow me this cheese, but you were you were a shining candle in a sea of Bruce darkness. So if this is goodbye, then au revoir, Alan.
Wow. Were you? Oh no, you weren't drunk, were you?
I wasn't drunk. I was watching Maxi clips because I started getting choked up. Yeah. I really did though. I genuinely started getting choked up. Because I'm soft and all my emotions now that I'm not drinking and taking proper medication, all my emotions that I've been trying to bury down, for the last 40 years coming up, they're bubbling away. All the bereavements that I haven't dealt with, and all this other shit is coming up. So what I'm doing is watching retro football and getting nostalgic and emotional. That's the way I'm dealing with it. But he was the only thing we had that got us through, that made us go to the match. Do you know what I mean? I think it was the only reason I renewed my season ticket. Well, 3 years ago, I was on the verge of going, nah, I'm not doing it no more. I can't go when there's just no hope and nothing. But it was just Maxi. It was Maxi getting through.
It was him, and you know, he was a maverick. He was exciting. He was somebody who, and it's been said on by lots of people, you know, the Steve Bruce tactic was give the ball to St. Maximin and let's see if he can do something. And a lot of times he did. And the excitement you would get when he used to take on players, it's you know, when you've got a player that is really something different at St. James's Park, because when he gets the ball and starts running with it, you get that go on, you know, and just for running with the ball. Now, very few players have that. I remember Craig Bellamy used to get that back in the day, because when he had the ball at his feet and he was running the players, he didn't quite know what was going to happen, and it was exciting. Now, he gave us that, and he gave us lots of moments like that. And when the takeover did happen, and everybody was looking at the team in a way of who's good enough to probably make the step up with the team, he was one of the names, if not the name. That was said that they can actually probably build it. Well, maybe he's not build the team around him, but he can definitely play a massive part and move on to the next step. And he has. He had injury problems last season. I don't think he was a first choice for Eddie Howe.
He wasn't.
Which is probably why he's allowed him to go. And do you know what is good on Maxi? He's going to go and get a payday in Saudi Arabia. If anybody deserves it, it's him. But he'll be going with a heavy heart, because he loves Newcastle as well. He's an adopted Geordie now. Yeah. What I do want to get your thoughts on, though, Si, is reports are saying around about 25 million euros, not pounds, euros. And there is a few outlets coming out and saying, well, how come they can sell players for him inflated? It's like, what? Inflated?
It's pissing me off so much. It's really
I
pissing me
think
off so much.
it's not inflated, it's deflated. Now, I think 25 million for Maxi, if it had been any other club apart from a club that was owned by PIF, I'm not going to go here. Hopefully, we'll get some favours off, from their clubs as well in the future. But let's say it was a Crystal Palace or an Everton or somebody like that came in and offered 25 million euros, wouldn't have gotten them.
Right. Well, I just want to say then, before we go on to that bit, yeah, like we said, final thoughts about Maxi. It was like that Maverick. It was like that. Hatton Ben Arthur, even though Ben Arthur played during, and it's weird to say this, a better period than under Bruce. Because remember all the stick I used to give Pardew.
Oh yeah, you weren't his. You didn't have his poster on your wall, did you? Sir?
I didn't do that, but he got rid of Europe and once, but it was But that team, he had a great team for like a brief, like a fleeting moment. Do you know what I mean? When we had Demba Ba, Cisse, Cabaye, Ben Arthur. Do you know what I mean? It was just, but yeah, Ben Arthur was similar, but with Maxi, I think he was more consistent than Ben Arthur. But yeah, just unpredictable on the pitch. I don't think anyhow it goes for that. He likes to know exactly what a player's going to do. He knows Maxi can dribble, but I think that's all he really saw in Maxi. I don't think he fit in with the tight discipline and everyone have a system. So yeah, it's a heavy heart, but yeah, I'm getting choked up. He's just been a shining light, Kevin.
You see that many dribbles.
That bloke that was bawling his eyes on when we won the FA Cup final. Were you in the background singing? It's been doing the rounds again because someone made a compilation of what season. We're like Simon Jordan laughing about getting finished in the top 6, and then it shows the journey. It's good. It's on Twitter.
I've seen it. You'll have to send us it all.
I'll say you think, and it's got you on it. That bloke's bawling his eyes. He's singing in the back.
We've got Bruno in the middle.
Oh, it was a mint day. But anyway, we're not talking about Wembley. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's to try and keep everything above board with PIF in the Premier League, which is just shocking, given how much Everton get away with, how much Man City get away with. It's just absolute bollocks. And I don't think the reports of all these clubs are going to look into it about PIF is anything more than made up by the media for clicks, and they're going to do all this kind of shit anytime stuff happens. But what I will be concerned with PIF and the Saudi League now is, and I told this to you, that maybe their attention's slightly going to come off Newcastle, and it's not going to be just their baby, their one shining project. I think if they want the Saudi League to be that, so I'm worried that Newcastle might get neglected by PIF in the future. What do you reckon?
I agree with part of what you're saying. I disagree with some of what you're saying as well. I do agree that at the moment their main priority or the thing they're trying to sort out will be their own league. Yeah, they've bought 4 clubs over there, and that they don't have the same financial restrictions that we have over here in Europe, because there's not that much competition over there, is it? It's one league, for the teams are owned by the same person. I think this is more of a drive because they're trying to do that project, the Saudi 2030 or something like that, where they're basically trying to make Saudi Arabia a more appealing place for tourism, bring it on the map in a more westernized way, should we say. They're doing lots of deals with companies to try and make it a more appealing for tourism and things like that. So I think that is a step in that direction, and they probably always thought themselves the sporting arena, whether in football being the main one, would be an area that we're always going to sort of concentrate on. I disagree with the fact that they're probably going to neglect the club. I don't think that will be the case whatsoever. I think that we are tied in with FFP now, and I know other clubs get away with it, but we'll be scrutinised whether it's right or not. We'll be scrutinised more than other clubs, because when this takeover went through, they would have said, look, yeah, we'll be watching it, mate. We'll be watching it. Need funny business with sponsorship deals, no inflating the market with silly signings if you can't afford to do that. So they're being really stringent with the FFP. But I think if we had more leadway, they would spend whatever they could spend. If we could afford to spend 200, 300, 400 million in the transfer market, they've got that much money. I think they would spend that. Would the main priority? I mean, look at this, for example. Just come out today. They've put a 300 million euro bid in for Kylian Mbappe, which is just mental. I mean, we've been arguing about this subject all week on the phone, haven't we?
Yeah.
But that's probably for another podcast. But if Newcastle could afford that money, and they didn't have the restrictions, I think they would still probably want to sign Mbappe for the Saudi Arabian league, because that really puts that league out there and says, look, we're here, we've arrived.
Well, that's my concern in the future, that we're going head to head with Saudi clubs that we can't compete with, owned by the same holding company essentially. Say like what a couple of years time where we are pushing. Say it's Man City or Arsenal, whoever, probably Man City still. We are pushing them for title contenders, and there's like these big names that we're trying to get, and Saudi clubs come along and hijack the deal by sticking on an extra 100 million and an extra, like, you know what I mean, 500,000 a week wages. That's my concern.
There's a possibility of that, but I don't think they would sort of like do that to us, if you know what I mean. I don't think that we would be. Well, look, I think it's going to be a long time before we're in the Kylian Mbappe conversations with the FFP. So, excuse me. I think if it was a player, let's say it was for 100 million, they've got to remember is that they've got two markets now. So they've got their Saudi Arabian market, but the European market's also a massive, massive market. So looking at it from a business perspective, if they've got other businesses that they're wanting to promote in this massive European market, it wouldn't make any business sense for them to neglect what effectively could become the jewel in their crown. No pun intended. But I don't think that we've got anything to worry about, especially as well, and I know it keeps coming back to this, in my past ownership, I would have absolutely killed for that headache to have. Having an owner that's got so much money, we don't know whether they're going to sign these top players for us or somebody else.
It's mad how quickly your thought pattern and expectations change, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like that's not us anymore. The reality is, in 2-3 years' time, we could be competing to be the biggest club in the Premier League, or maybe even Europe, with the money we've got, if we navigate it properly.
And you're right, Si, sorry to interrupt. You're right there, because in the Saudi Arabians and the PIF have shown that they want the best. And now if they've got a team in Europe, they'll want that team to be the best in Europe. So, and they're not going to get there by neglecting it. Now, it goes back to what I said before.
Yeah, but I still think the priority will be the Saudi League when it comes to big stars. So
it'll depend, because it'll also boil down to the player as well, Si.
Because it comes down to their integrity and whether they want to win the Al Kebab trophy. That's not racist. That's just like, you know, name of the food.
Al Hilal, you were trying to say, wasn't, Si?
No, because that's the name of the club, Al Hilal.
All right. Oh, well.
I'm thinking of whatever the league trophy's called.
All right. Okay.
Whatever. The Saudis don't care. They're not snowflakes. You know what I mean? This is just chop me tattooed hand off. They wouldn't. That's the whole stereotype. Do you know what I mean? It comes down to that. It's like, do you want to win the for me if you dare? It comes down to if you want to win the fucking Champions League. Do you know what I mean? Or you want to win the Saudi League and their cups. Do you know what I mean? It's what you want on your CV. Are you going to take? Like, when it comes to like all these notes, does it even matter? Like, does it matter really? Like, fucking the difference between 500 grand a week and, like, say, what, 350 grand a week in Europe? That extra 150 grand a week, are you willing to sacrifice that for getting like real trophies that in real competitions that actually mean something? Are these players going to step up and have the integrity to go, now I want to do it at the top level? I want to stay an elite player. I want to win the trophies that matter, that everyone wants to win. They're going to be remembered in the annals of football history, not some brand new thing that anyone could win with. Do you know what I mean? Half a team. I'm going to pause it there. I'll edit this bit out. But I'm recording. What's the crack? You sound upset. Are you not? All right, okay. Right, okay, then I'll say when you get back. Just be quiet when you come in the door in case I'm still recording. Okay, love you, bye. Do you know what I mean? That's the if the players are willing to.
You're right, Si.
I can't even be asked to edit that out. So yeah, just that in if they've got that, what do you reckon?
You're right, Si. No, I agree. So, and here's food for thought. Like, you know, I'm probably thinking aloud here as well. So, yeah, the like you say, the integrity. When you finish your career, and you've only got your memories in your medals to look back on, there'll be players out there who will have the likes of Champions League in that, you know, Premier League or domestic league. Where if you're Italian, you'll want to win the Italian domestic league. So there will be players out there who go, yeah, well, I can. Now the other thing is, if you come to a Newcastle United and who are owned by the PIF and you win those things, again, I'm not saying we're going to, but if you did that and then you do get later on in your career, it's probably going to up your chances of then getting that payday, aren't you? So if you're turning down the PIF to go to the PIF, once you've done those things and you're like, actually, I'm ready for my payday now. All right, just go to our other club over there. We'll give you that now.
Yeah.
I don't see it as a bad thing nor a good thing for Newcastle United personally. But for the rest of the Premier League, it is starting to get a bit of traction now, and I think there is a few.
Well, it's helped Chelsea out
teams that are. It has helped Chelsea
and Liverpool.
It has helped them out, which isn't great for us. But they'll conduct their business separately in Saudi Arabia, and they'll not worry about that because they'll be looking and saying, "Well, yeah, we are helping them out, but we can only work by our own merits, and anyways, so we can only bring in the players that we can bring in for Newcastle United, irrelevant of who we're signing for what other teams in Saudi Arabia."
Well, I don't think they'll even be thinking about Newcastle. There'll be different departments. It's not going to be like just three blokes. They're like, all right, we need Newcastle, right? We need to do Al Hilal. We need to do Escobar. We need to do this. We need to do that. Do you know what I mean? It's good. They're not even going to think about Newcastle. They're going to be thinking about the people who run that Saudi league are going to be thinking about how they make the Saudi league more attractive and get the top players in.
Exactly, and I don't think we can concentrate too much on that. It's a case as well of actually we might be getting less money for St. Maximin. I do think 25 million euros is less than what it should be worth, but at the same time, I'd rather them go to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, a bit.
Look at me now, look at Casper.
But at the same time, I'd rather them go over to Saudi Arabia than play for another Premier League club and then him potentially damage it, or for that another European club, because now we're in the European conversation. He's going somewhere now where he's not going to come back and bite one the backside at any stage soon. And
yeah, that's more for me the emotional thing. I don't think I can handle him playing against her. I don't think I can hack it. But maybe in a few years' time, if he does get a move somewhere, then maybe, and he gets like do you know what I mean, a good reception that. But it'll have to be like, you know, after a breakup, it'll have to be a long time before we can be friends. You know what I mean?
Well,
that's the way I feel about Maxi. It's gonna, honestly, we kind of talk and hang out just yet, mate. Honestly, it's gonna take a few years.
And a little bit like a relationship as well. And my dad always used to say this about relationships, and it's apt in this situation now. When one door closes, when one door closes, another one opens, and that door has opened for Harvey Barnes. So what do you think what's your thoughts just on Harvey Barnes being the replacement for St. Maximin?
Well, I know they play on different sides, not Maxi, but I was a big advocate, as you know, for a long time for Moussa Diaby. Do you know what I mean? I watched him. I really wanted him, and we were talking. I know they play on different sides of the wing, but who would you rather have overall in the team, Harvey Barnes or Moussa Diaby? I went Barnes just because he got the same amount of goals last season. Yeah, Diaby got more assists, but Barnes can do it in the Premier League. and he's done it in the Premier League for years, whereas Diaby might not fit straight in with the pace of the Premier League. We've seen that before when French elite wingers come over for Newcastle. Remy Cabella, what was the other one? Florian Thauvin. Do you know what I mean? They just didn't fit in with the Premier League, and that could happen. Whereas Barnes, look at him last night, cracking a shot off straight away, with confidence in him. I thought that was going in. You didn't watch it. You were a kid, were you?
I watched it this morning. I got up early this morning, about 6 o'clock, and watched it.
Because I was wondering, because in our group chat, you weren't active. It was me and Gaz tweeting, messaging back and forward all night. Really enjoyed the game. Like, let's cover quick. We'll mention Barnes. Yeah, Barnes. So as a Maxi, it's hard to say a Maxi replacement because, but yeah, putting emotions aside and being ruthless and focusing on the betterment of Newcastle United, 100% Harvey Barnes is better in that position. And people who disagree are absolute morons. He scored the same amount of goals and assists over the last 3 seasons as Bukayo Saka. So, Haway, just if you, I know people let their emotions, get the best of them, and on Twitter, any knacker who can, who's got opposable thumbs can have an opinion. So, you got to look at the stats, and you got to look at it clinically. And Harvey Barnes, is a much better asset for Newcastle United than Alan St-Maximin, unfortunately.
A couple of things. Sorry, a couple of things that you said on there. I want to sort of delve into just slightly deeper. Starting with you mentioned Moussa Diaby there. Now, we had a similar incident last year, was it? Where we'd been after what you call the Brazilian defender Diego Carlos, where we'd been after him. We didn't get him. He went to Aston Villa.
Got injured.
And got injured, but who we got in instead was Sven Botman. Now, you ask anybody, who would you rather have, Diego Carlos or Sven Botman? I think we all know the answer to that. Now, we could have had a chance for Moussa Diaby, or at least we'd been shown interest in Moussa Diaby for quite a while. Again, same club, Aston Villa. It goes to show they're in the market for the same type of players that we want to watch this season, definitely. But they went for Moussa Diaby. We've went for Harvey Barnes. I think we'll be seeing a similar sort of thing. I think Moussa Diaby will be a good player for Aston Villa, but I think in terms for our club, I think Harvey Barnes would have been the better decision for ourselves. And look, as for Barnes as a replacement for Maximin, it was his sale that opened up the door for Harvey Barnes to come through, wasn't it? Let's be honest. If we didn't sell Maxi, we weren't going to be signing Harvey Barnes. It became pretty apparent for that. So that's what I mean when I say him as a replacement. And when I think about it, how much more game time is a Harvey Barnes going to get compared to St-Maximin? That's including injuries, because he has been a little bit injury prone the last couple of seasons, St-Maximin. And secondly, just out of what Eddie Howe looks from a player, he's going to fit our system a lot more. So for me, as much as it was painful, I think Harvey Barnes was a good replacement, and I agree with you. I may come back and this may get clipped, and I might be eating me words, but I do think, just for the reasons you said as well, Harvey Barnes probably suits us a bit better than a Moussa Diaby. Having said that, I would have definitely taken Moussa Diaby.
I would have done, but Harvey Barnes. I've literally got no doubt. If he stays injury free, he'll be absolutely adored by Newcastle fans, because he's just gonna bag goals for fun.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get anything like you get from Maximin out of Barnes. I mean, he's not one for taking players on. He's not one for trickery. Loves a 1-2. Loves a 1-2.
Is what his favourite. 1-2 and shots outside the box.
Shots outside the
box.
That's
what we're missing. That's what we've been missing.
And that's what used to drive people up the wall with Maxi a little bit. You didn't get either of those things. You didn't get the shots outside the box, and you didn't really get any 1-2s. It was very much trying to get into the box. Which, he did really, really well. That game against Man City last season was probably his best game in a black and white shirt. But did it suit our sort of style of play? Possibly not.
Not now. Does it not? I want to move on to obviously the match. And hello, Vinny. Oh, the baby. I think it's gonna be like a taster of what's to come in regards to our squad and the team that we'll pick. I think we're gonna be a Man City style team soon, where you don't know who's going to be playing. I don't think Eddie Howe's going to be able to. I know he used to like stick with the same players if they're doing well. I think now he's changing that up, and he's realizing with all the competitions we're in, we're going to have essentially two first 11s where we can interchange and intersperse players and change up formations, and especially changing tactics during a game. I think he mentioned something about that last night, or something along those lines. I think that's that's going to be the future of Newcastle United, and I'm bloody excited for it. Just watching it last night, looking at our bench compared to Villa's bench and what with the power we had, I was like, yeah, I think we can do well here once everyone's up to speed. Anderson, oh my God, he impressed so much that first half. He was playing like an elite player, and I know it was just a friendly, but wow, him and Isaac together, they just looked amazing, looked absolutely amazing. The chemistry, and he really lived up to the Geordie what do you call it, Geordie thing, Messi? No, call him
Don't know what you're talking about.
Anderson, Maradona.
Oh, the Geordie Maradona.
Geordie Maradona. He's lived up to that last night.
Well, look, the game last night. I mean, it's a friendly. You take friendlies with a pinch of salt, and the friendlies are there for trying things and trying things out. We won't be trying again, I don't think, as a back three. That will not be happening. I mean, I looked at the lineup, and there was a few there where I thought myself, I'm not quite sure. Is he putting them in the shop window? What is it?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
not centre back.
Paul Dummett, I just, he's been a great servant to the club over the dark years, but he cannot play for us again. He cannot play for us again. His legs are gone, man. He's gone. The injuries have taken that toll. He's not up to that level. He cannot play.
I think sometimes in these friendlies they do try to put people in the shop window, but I think sometimes it can have a reverse effect as well, because if you try and put them in the shop window and then they have a stinker, teams go, oh, I'm not saying him. I agree with Dummett. And when we were playing that back three at the beginning, well, I mean, we're 2-0 up, 2-0 down after 10 minutes. We looked really exposed at the back. We had that drinks break, and that's when he changed it up and went, actually, let's not do that. But at the same time, I think he was being really cute, Eddie Howe. I think he was trying to be a bit clever. I don't think he wanted to give anything away for our first game of the season.
So I was just about to say, that's our first match of the season, home against Villa. I don't think he wanted Emery to know exactly what the style of play is going to be, because obviously Emery he's as studious as Eddie Howe, and he will watch that match over and over and over again and analyse everything about what Newcastle did and what Villa did and how they can counteract that. So I think you're going to see a very, very different lineup and a different style of play when we do play Villa at home.
And I think it was clever in the way.
In 3 weeks' time, just under 3 weeks, and I can't wait. I know loads of people that go to the friendlies at St James's, where that mini little tournament thing where the
Cellar Cup,
all that team's on, the Cellar Cup. I'm not going just because I've said this to you before. For one, I can't give any more money to the club right now. They're absolutely skinning us for cash with all the competitions and all the money we've paid out, and having to get the bin, the tops and all that. I can't put any more money in the club. For one, right now, I just can't afford it. But two, and more importantly, I like to go back to St James's on the first game of the season. That's when I like to return. I don't want to go to a friendly. It's like an anti-climax. I want to go back on the first game and feel that buzz and that electricity in the ground.
Well, I've got butterflies in my stomach after that, Si. So very excited. But yeah, going back to the game last night, I mean, I think he was very clever in the way that he did it. He made sure all the first team had a run out, but at no stage did he have his starting 11 on together. So you're right in what you're saying about Emery. We'll look at that, but you saw each of the starting, what I believe will be the starting 11, just at different times and never playing together. I thought just to get the other one little kind of slight negative out the way. I don't think Tonali had the most impressive of games last night. I think he got found out a couple of times. Once by McGinn, got really overpowered by him and couldn't really catch up with him. And what you call him on the left for Aston Villa? Buendia. Buendia, yeah, he had him rattled a couple of times. But look, he's brand new in here.
I know, but when you're playing alongside Paul Dummett and Matt Ritchie, do you know what I mean? Then it's do you know what I mean? I think that feeds onto the pitch.
I mean, he was alongside Bruno. I think what the missing element there was Joe Linton or Longstaff, wasn't it? So I'm not 100% sure whether Tonali will be starting the first game against Aston Villa. But there was some absolute beacons of light last night as well, like you rightly said, Elliot Anderson, and like he did in the Rangers game and like he did in the Gateshead game, has been the best player on the pitch. Absolutely fantastic. He compared to the player he was last season, he looks beefier, he looks stronger, he looks stockier. He's got a good touch. He's taking shots on. His mind's in the game. His interplay is really good. He just looks like a player. He just looks like a real player.
Well, speaking of that, someone who looks like a player, and someone I had doubts over just the amount of money, Anthony Gordon. Wow, he's impressing us.
I told you, didn't I?
Yeah, but I knew how good he was at Everton. Remember, I used to have him in my FPL team, not last year, the year before. But last year, he didn't. I thought, oh, maybe it was the one season.
Flash in the pan.
Yeah, but yeah, that obviously well done to him for the winning the under 21s Euros or World Cup, whatever it was.
Player of the tournament.
Yeah, player of the tournament. And yeah, he's looking confident as fuck when he comes on. Like, he could have had a couple of goals. He should have had a couple of goals. But obviously Wilson finished off that first one that I thought he was going to bury Gordon.
That tournament's been...
I love. Just quickly, I want to mention Wilson. I love Callum Wilson for that because it makes it look easy, and that wasn't an easy goal. Loads of players would have skied that. Do you know what I mean? Or absolutely span at it, or took one touch too many and let the keeper get back in place. But Callum Wilson just puts them balls away all day long.
Right. Well, we'll start off with Gordon on this one. So yeah, Gordon. I mean, I think that under 21 tournament's been the best thing for him because whereas we had a lot of really tired players because it was a long, hard season last season, and by the end of the season we looked dead on our feet. He wasn't.
Well, even he said his fitness was lacking last season. He wasn't up to speed.
Yeah, he said that, but I don't think he was one of the ones that would have been dead on his feet because he wasn't playing nowhere near as much time as the rest of the team. He spent a lot of time on the bench. So that bit of football that he's had in the summer, and for it to be such a successful one as well, one, that does his confidence really good, and secondly, it keeps his fitness going. And last night he looked
playing as a lone forward as well.
Yeah, I mean, last night he looked like a player who hadn't had a break in football. He looked match fit. He looked ready to go. He looked Premier League ready to me. He looked absolutely great. On the left hand side, cutting inside, taking shots, and their defense looked really worried by him. Yeah. So yeah, I think he's probably going to be starting the first game against Aston Villa.
Yeah, I think he will as well. To be honest, or it's going to be a tricky one. We'll have to guess the lineups. It's going to be going to be a real tricky one.
Good.
But, yeah, it's great problems to have. But like I say, again with Anderson, it's like a new, like a new signing. But that confidence he's got, he has, because he didn't really feature last season in the Premier League. He had a couple of subs on, but now he just looks like a player who's ready.
Cliche, it is, but it is. I think it's right. The correct cliche in this. It is like a new signing. Not just the fact that he didn't really play many games. He just looks like a different player to the one that was playing for Newcastle United the second half of last season, and I'm absolutely buzzing for it. You mentioned Callum Wilson there. Look, Callum Wilson's Callum Wilson. We're going to go back to the same debate that we had last season, aren't we? It's between him and Isaac. They're going to have to share the games, and you don't want to drop neither one. But it's just it's great to have that sort of competition.
I know.
But I tell you who I do want to mention as well, who every time he's came on in these friendlies doesn't look like a 17-year-old, and that's Miley.
Lewis Miley. Yeah.
He plays football like somebody who's not 17. I don't think he's ready yet. Now, some people saying he needs a loan spell, and I think we had this conversation last season, Si. Whereas, there's two ways of looking at it. So there's getting the loan spell, right, and getting those games, which probably is the correct decision, probably will be. But then at the same time, do you not just want Eddie Howe just to have a go at him for a season, the same way he has with Elliot Anderson? Get that coaching in there. Being able to see him every single day and say, right, you need to do this, you need to do that. He's obviously turned around to Anderson and said, look, you need to bulk yourself up a little bit. You need to get yourself a little bit stronger. We can't get you knocked up. Yeah, he can see his progress day by day. So he's having an influence on him on a really, really important time of his career. I think, I've put two arguments out there. If it was me, I probably would go with the loan deal, send him on loan somewhere so you get some game time. But there is a little part of us as well that is thinking, actually, just get Eddie Howe coaching him every day, pretty much for a year. Is he gonna come on more that way, or is he gonna come on more playing in League One?
I think Championship. Yeah, I do. I reckon the teams in Championship would snap him up. And I do think he needs a loan spell, definitely, 100%.
But yeah, kudos to him because he hasn't looked out of place.
No, he hasn't. But we need to focus on our first team or first teams, and I don't think he's going to be that. He may, if they just be involved in the cup competitions, which all controversial opinion. I've had this conversation with you. I'd put out a team like of like Richie, Dummett, Lewis, Lascelles, and what have you for the domestic cups. We had this competition. We had this conversation whether would you sack off the domestic cups and focus on the Champions League and the league. Eddie Howe won't do that, but it's what I would do.
Because it comes back to the argument as well, which I think is a fair argument. We want silverware. And if we're thinking realistically, if we are going to get silverware, the best opportunity of that really is coming from the domestic cups, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Of course,
it's not coming from the Champions League, and it's not coming from winning the league, is it? So I get what you're saying. You want to go as far as you can in those competitions because they're more exciting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you want a medal or if you want a bit of silverware, it probably has to come from the Carabao / FA Cup.
Yeah.
So, and that'll be Eddie Howe's way of thinking about it as well. Like,
obviously, I'd prefer the FA Cup. I prefer the FA Cup to the Carabao Cup. It would be nice to go on that trip to Wembley, but if we can just have all of the build-up matches played away, that would be great because I won't be forced to go to all of them if we go that far in the competition at home, and because I'm going to have to go to a Champions League match away, and we're going to have to do it. So it's just going to be a case of like. I don't know what I'm gonna have to sell things. I'm gonna start selling shit that I've got, or might do a charity auction.
Charity begins at home, eh?
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, I agree. I don't think. Well, what we need that second string to be strong enough to go into those competitions and be able to do that. Now you put Lascelles in that bracket. Lascelles was all right to me last night. Like,
he did. I wasn't. I wasn't being facetious against that. He's not the first choice. But yeah, I want to say about Lascelles. I'm quite happy with him staying. Obviously, with the press conference a couple of days ago with him and Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe obviously likes him a lot and respects him. And I think if say anything happened to Shaw or Botman, we could jiggle around, and I think Lascelles would be all right now. I think he has trained under Howe, and he's had a lot of time to train. I think he'll be a different player to that player who looked shaky during the Bruce era. I think he'll get back to how he was under Rafa, even better. I know he's older now, but yeah, I've got confidence in Lascelles.
I do as well, and I think when he was going through a bit of a poor spell as well, we were under a lot of pressure defensively. We were
Exactly,
sat.
I was going to say, yeah, we're getting peppered.
We were sat back, so there was a lot more opportunities for mistakes. Now, I'm not, don't get us wrong, he's not a first team starter, but as a backup, I think he's a very good backup to have. He's a leader. He's a leader in the team as well. Off the pitch, he's really respected by the rest of the team. Which so is Richie, but Richie, I think differently a little bit about. I think I'm starting to lose a little bit of sentiment just in terms of the fact that we're starting to run out of squad numbers now. I love Richie. Don't get us wrong. And I think he's a player that's been there through the hard times.
Servant, yeah.
But I don't think his abilities where it needs to be for Newcastle United. And I know it sounds harsh and it hurts me saying that. But if I'm being realistic, like you said at the beginning of the video, Si, the way that we're looking at Newcastle United is different to other seasons now. And I know Eddie Howe really likes him. Did they spend time at Bournemouth together as well?
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
So
there is sentiment there, but if we start running out of squad numbers,
there's no time for fucking sentiment in the real world, Kevin.
Is kind of where I'm going with that. So we're talking about off the field there with the players as well. I don't know how much you've been looking at on YouTube or whatever. Some of the videos that are going about for the sort of fan outreach while they've been over in America, but it seems to have been absolutely brilliant. So
I watched one or two, but I literally haven't had time, and when I have had the spare time, I've been watching the Tottenham game on repeat.
I
just keep watching it. I just keep watching it on YouTube over and over again because Newcastle United obviously uploaded the first 21 minutes, and I've watched it so many times, like stupid amount, like obsessively watched it, just to keep reliving that moment. And I'm gonna go out here and say that was my favorite ever game at St James's Park. That was the most buzziest I've been, and I've seen we play Barcelona. Do you know what I mean? That for me was just the best.
I still get goosebumps watching it back, like.
Yeah.
But
I thought I was going to die. I literally thought
you did go bright red, like.
It was just anyway.
But anyways, we digress. We digress. So what I wanted to say is I've seen some really good things from Newcastle United, but I think we've dropped the ball on a couple of things as well. So have a little look through YouTube. There's some great videos out there where they've went to these fan pubs like Darren Neal's, Shea Givens there, Shola Amiobi.
Love Shea Given.
Mia Dadgadusi.
I seen his son.
No.
There's a video where I think it was during lockdown when they were talking about Newcastle, and his son comes running and goes, "Come on!" He's like a proper
die-hard. Oh yeah. I've seen that. Well, anyway, so I think they've done that bit really well, and there's a video of Mirdad Gadusi. So people must have been putting videos on the social media. This Irish pub in Philadelphia, and all the fans were there, and there was like hundreds of them there. And they must have saw and went, "However, we'll get ourselves down there." And Mirdad Gadusi got ID'd at the door off the bouncer. He looked for a second. He maybe just wasn't going to let him in, and I was like, "Is anybody going to say those words? You know who I am." But the outreach to the fans has been really good. Where they've dropped the ball a bit is there's a lot of fans, and I'm on a group called Toon Army USA. I've been on it for a long time. And there's a lot of fat Newcastle fans from the USA who said the same thing.
That sounded like you said fat Newcastle fans. I was like, hey!
hey, I'm one of them myself.
Thyroid?
Have turned up at the stadium with a pocket full of money, ready to buy the merch. There's Chelsea there. You can get Brentford stuff, Fulham stuff, Aston Villa stuff. Not a single piece of merch for Newcastle United. So you can get all the tops for all the other teams. And there's people put on there saying, look, I turned up with $300, ready to spend it on merch. I wanted to get tops. I wanted to get flags. I wanted to get scarves. They've completely dropped the ball on that. So, and I know it doesn't sound like much, $300, but, if we're trying to sort of push ourselves in another country, we need to be going out with stuff like this. It just seemed like a bit of a silly thing. And then I thought to myself, well, actually, Castor can't even get enough shirts in the club shop in Newcastle. So how are they going to get shirts over there? Yeah. So if I'm Newcastle United, And that is the reason why, because Castor are letting them down on orders. What are they doing? What are Castor doing? Do they not know that?
Kev, I just want to say this: it's mad that you can buy a snidey top from China for 12 quid that sometimes looks better and is more consistent than the official Castor. Oh, there's the door. Hold on. It's all kicking off. Vinny.
Who's at his door? I bet it's the window cleaner. Oh, can I pay double next week?
I'm still recording, man. That's coming back. We're going out. Right, Joel, I'm still recording, man. Yes, after.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Oh, I'll cut loads of that bit out.
That's lovely. That's high.
That was a postman.
Yeah, with your snidey Newcastle shirt. Yeah, so yeah, it just goes to show. Look, the demand for Newcastle United shirts must be so high because Castor also do Aston Villa. There was plenty of their shirts there. Like, surely after the debacle of last season, where fans weren't getting the tops for over a month after they ordered them because it didn't have them ready. Why haven't they got like loads of shirts printed off, ready to go out the door? Doesn't make any sense to us.
I know. I just
but
can't.
There you are. That's my little rant on that.
Yeah, I just can't wait to get Adidas back. On the back of my tops.
Yeah, I would take Adidas. I'd take Asics back. I used to love that.
Oh, I would. Say it's like, how do you say it? It's like Adidas or Adidas, Asics or Asics. I mean, it doesn't matter. Say however you want. But I would, if it wasn't Adidas, I would take Air Jordan.
Air Jordans,
Yeah, I would love Newcastle Air Jordan shirt and the tracksuit. Oh, imagine all the training kits, Air Jordan, Newcastle training kits, man. That'd be amazing. I mean, if you're not into like the hip hop culture and basketball stuff and all that kind of way, it might not be for you. But I just love the Air Jordan stuff, and their sizes are perfect. Like if you get an XL, it's an XL. Do you know what I mean? It's like a proper original, not this just nonsense slim fits. If you get an XL, it's an XL. Mm-hmm. Air Jordan, their clothing line. I've got many Air Jordan hoodie. Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
what I was going to say is, I think the only other topic I really want to touch on is probably something we'll be dissecting in the next video. The 1st of August, the name of Newcastle United is going to be in pot 4 for the Champions League. Obviously, we'll be talking about who we do get, but who would you want?
Wow, you completely glitched there, but I think I got most of it. You're talking about the draw for the Champions League.
Yeah, so it's on the 1st of August.
Is it on the 1st of August? Is it?
So on the next video, we'll probably be dissecting who it is that we've got and what we're looking forward to. But before that, who's your dream group? Who's your dream group?
Like Turkish and Cypriot part-time farmers.
Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Is that what you want? You want a nice, easy group?
Want a nice, easy group.
You don't want a trip to the Bernabeu or a trip to the new camp?
In the latter stages.
There's no guarantee you're going to get to the latter stages, though, is there? You listen to some Newcastle fans, and they're like, I hope we finish third so we can go into the Europa League. It's like, what? I hope we finish third.
It's crackers. No, I want to go all the way. I want to go all the way in the Champions League.
Well, I want to go all the way, but that's probably not going to happen.
No reason why we can't go all the way. Look at the final last year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you look at the semis last year? There's no reason why we can't go all the way. Fucking Tottenham get there. Do you know what I mean? A couple of years ago, Tottenham got the final. There's no reason why we cannot go all the way.
I disagree with you on the fact that you want a nice, easy group, though. I want a difficult group, me.
Why?
I would like a mix. I would like one big team in there, at least like one.
Maybe I'd accept one
super team.
I'd accept one big team, like a Real or Bayern or. I one big thing. It would be nice to have a trip. I'd probably say Germany, because obviously we've just been there, and I think it's a shorter flight time than Spain. And I think Spain would be a bit too hot for my body type.
I'd like a Spanish trip, like.
Whereas Germany, it's just that's good for den gegangen for the fat man. Yeah, fit in, I blend in, Aryan.
Well, let's not. Other thing as well. Thoughts to Shaka Hislop. Hope he's alright.
What's happening? Like?
Oh, you not seen it? Oh, he was so he keeled over on TV. He was pitch side for the AC Milan friendly. I can't remember who they were playing. They were playing somebody. I think it might have been in America as well. And he was just getting interviewed on like his American channel, and then just start wobbling about, and then boom, hits the deck like that. And like the co-presenter, fucking, he's like, Shaka, getting the medical. Apparently, he's all right. He's in. Hopefully, it was just like. No, I don't think it was anything like that. Hopefully, it was just a bit of heat exhaustion or something along the lines of that. I'm hoping. Yeah. But he goes down like the videos online. Have a look at it. But yeah, thoughts to him. Hopefully, he'll be all right.
Shaka. I shout out, get well soon, Shaka. We'll look at what we're reaching the hour point. Even though some bits might have to be edited out. Yeah, this new format. I think it's going to be good. Weekly podcasts, because we're just not going to be able to cover everything. It's just not going to have enough time in the day between me and you with what we do outside.
So I've just realised as well, Si.
What?
It's the first time in a long time.
I haven't said, are you ready?
I know.
Stick
him on at the end. Just stick him on at the end.
Right.
It'll be bad luck if we don't put him on.
I know. We're gonna do what we're gonna do a shout out and what get ready to subscribe and all that. But are you ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
I can't believe I forgot it.
I know. We must be rusty.
I had the boy down to the start, and we haven't done it for a while. But yeah, everyone, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that thumb button. That's the most important thing to do. Not about subscribing, but hit the thumb button and comment below with your opinions of everything we've talked about. All the new signings, all three of them, obviously. Minter went out on loan. Where you think we need to strengthen, what your views are of pre-season, anything to do with the Saudi League, comment below. Let's get a conversation going. Hopefully this will be available now on all podcast platforms, so you could be listening on iTunes or Spotify or what have you. If you go and hit the like or whatever you do on that, upvote or share or comment or like or heart or what have you, do all of that. That would be fantastic for it. And yeah, this is going to be our new format. So we will be back next week, by which time I think we'll have played Chelsea and Brighton. Is that correct?
Yeah, Chelsea and Brighton.
So we'll come back with a little review of the Chelsea-Brighton matches, how we feel, and hopefully we might get someone else through the door. And hopefully Champions League. Oh, yes, the Champions League. So, yeah, lots of action-packed next week. So hit that like button, hit the bell button. If you do subscribe, to be notified when we release new videos. But once again, thank you all for all your support. See you soon. Take care. Thank you very much. And ta-da.
Come on.